All right, guys. At long last.
Who was it?
You can't miss it.
We are live on Facebook. Hey, everybody. To anyone who might be joining us.
Hi, guys.
I want to let you know that we'll be starting really in about 1 minute here. But please join the show. We love it when you comment below. Your comments will be shown on screen. All takes are welcome, although many of them will be mocked. And, yeah.
I just read the first two lines.
Yeah.
Oh, is he reading that comment?
He started to, and then he's like, I have to put this away.
Yeah.
We all love going on walks in the neighborhood, especially that one.
I'm telling you.
Our fans are odd sometimes.
It's Andy Kaufman. Think it's that
Lord.
good.
What did you respond?
Thank you.
Just thank you.
All right. The chat is connected.
Woohoo!
Gentlemen, the show belongs to you.
Very nice. Mike, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Gabe's ready in the back. Isaac, are you ready?
I'm ready.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of Glass Half Sports. Today is September 29th, 2022. Glad to have you with us as always on a crisp fall day. It is definitely well past summer at this point. We just kind of jumped off the cliff last week.
It's that weird point in the year where you have the heat on in the morning and the AC on in the afternoon.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I will shed this hoodie about halfway through the day today. I am one half of your hosting duties, Nick Huffman, as always, joined by our resident quarterback and football guru, Mike Mensing. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the great introduction.
Well, I felt like Slender Man was a tad bit on the harsh side last week, so I'm trying to earn some brownie points back.
We're at both extremes right now. So.
Gotcha. How's Andover doing?
We're sitting at 2-2.
Okay.
Lost a big rivalry game in a mud bowl on Friday.
In a mud bowl?
Yeah.
Very nice. Final score? Did you guys get blown out? Was it close?
20-18.
Yeesh. It's a tough loss. The kids will rebound. Kids will rebound. You'll get them right.
Got Buffalo tomorrow night, homecoming. So
Gonna win?
that's the plan.
All right. As long as that's the plan,
Right.
right? No, nobody shows up to lose, I guess. But, Mike, what do we got for the folks this week?
Yeah, as always, guys, we have a big show for you today. We're going to go some preseason Wild Wolf Watch. So we'll break in our first segment of Wild Wolf Watch with some preseason check-ins with those two teams. We have a segment called Gophers Looking Golden.
Yep.
About the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team. Our Vikings pre and review. Week 3 3-word game. Say that 10 times fast. We have a new segment today called Mike's Minutes, where I actually get some input on the show.
Acts like he doesn't say anything during the show.
And then our NFL Week 3 preview.
Yeah. Mike, if they are a sports fan with sports fan friends and they wanted to share this wonderful show with everybody out there, where can they go to do so?
Yeah, as always, guys, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and Twitch. And hopefully with the addition of Isaac in the back to the Glass Half Sports team, we'll be able to bring you even more social media.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be here to help grow the show and interact with all of our amazing fans. We finally have a TikTok guru. I am unfortunately realizing that me and Mike may be a tad bit too old to master TikTok, so bringing somebody in like
he
that.
He was asking me, hey, have you heard of this guy? No. Have you heard of this guy? No. I was like, I am almost 30. This is what it feels like.
I mean, maybe with him, we can get like one of the D'Amelios on the show or something. That's about all I know about TikTok. Yeah, exactly.
One of the Milk Brothers.
So with that, let's start our preseason Wild Wolf Watch. Let's jump into the Minnesota Wild preview right away.
Yeah.
Have played 2 preseason games to this point, I believe. Mm-hmm. Have won them both.
Correct.
If that's correct.
By 2 goals or more.
Yeah.
Pretty handed
beat
wins.
the Avalanche by 3, 5-2 last time out. So what are your thoughts moving into the Minnesota Wild season?
I think they'll be okay. I think everybody's kind of waiting to see with some of the departure of some of the bigger names from the offseason what our offensive scoring power is going to look like. I think that is going to require a couple of things. One, Greenway is going to have to play the way that we know he's capable of playing around the front of the net for redirects for Kirill. Kirill is going to have to take a step forward physically. I think his speed, his puck handling, his vision on the ice are all things that are, plus tools that he has in the bag. But when they do decide to rough him up, he does disappear at times. So for him to take that step will be good. And then what do Boldy and Rossi look like as they solidify themselves as probably line 2 or 3? Like, they're going to get a lot of minutes this year to start to replace some of the goal production we lost in the offseason. And then last but not least, can Marc-Andre Fleury, a guy that Mike is not a fan of at all.
That's not true. That's not true.
Are you sure?
I'm actually a huge fan of Marc-Andre Fleury if it was 2009.
Okay. But can he fend off Father Time for one more year and stay consistent in goal? Those are the questions that surround the Minnesota Wild. I mean, I think playoffs.
So we got really young in attacking, and we got really old in the net.
For sure.
That sounds like a championship combination right there.
Who knows? I mean, Vegas did it. Vegas did it winning a ring.
Yeah, and who was their goalie?
Marc-Andre Fleury.
And how many years ago was that?
3.
2018?
Yeah.
2018, 2019?
Yeah.
So
maybe a little bit further than
4 years ago?
Whatever.
Same
My point
goalie?
is, I think so. Let's have the expectations talk, because I know this will be the conversation that we reference back to with Mike's allergic reaction to Minnesota sports victories throughout the remainder of the season. What is the expectation for the Minnesota Wild this year, Mike?
First round playoff exit.
First round playoff exit. Okay. I would like to go a little bit further. Second round playoff exit for me.
How did we get better, though? Name one category on this entire roster that we got better in from last year with our first round playoff exit.
I can't.
Thank you.
But some of the stars we have in place and some of the young guys that should step forward would lead me to believe that a first round exit would be, I'm not going to say it's a total letdown, but we would like to see them get to the second round and make progress.
I would have agreed with you if we went with my plan.
Which was what? Keep
Talbot and Kakkonen.
Jesus Christ. We're not rehashing a 6-month-old argument here.
It bleeds into it.
It does not.
It's a huge part of it moving forward.
It's a new season.
I can still bring up Case Keenum if you want me to. All right.
We're not doing that either.
Let's transition to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a team I am actually extremely excited for.
Absolutely.
Let me kick you off with one statistic.
Yep.
We are the only team in the NBA with 3 players in the top 25. What are the expectations for these actual classic look?
Yeah.
2 bigs, Timberwolves.
So the Vegas has their win total at 48.5. I think if you have access to a sports book, hammer the over, because this is a 55 win team, if healthy. Now, with that being said, how they're going to manage expectations this year is going to be probably the biggest piece of it. We've seen a lot of sports franchises in all 4 major sports when they get expectations heaped on them and they are the proverbial target which is aimed at, they seem to wilt under the spotlight. So that's going to be the big question, is what does that look like throughout the course of the regular season? Not super surprised and also not super happy that Karl Anthony Towns was the only Timberwolves player on roster to not either be in camp early or show up on time for media day. So that's not a great look. Here we go. Byron says, banking on Rossi, Hartman, and Boldy to elevate. See, I told you, it's all about the youth in net for the Wild.
The key word there is banking. You're betting your entire season on young guys to elevate their play to get you past where you were last year.
It's almost like the Bengals relied on Joe Burrow. Anyways, so not exactly stoked to see that, because I think, especially with Karl Anthony Towns, the majority of his talk is not his ability on the court. It's who is he on the bench, off the court, in the locker room. For him not to be there when everybody else kind of has their eyes set on championship mentality, playing for each other, so on and so forth, for him not to be there, it's kind of an odd look, I think, for myself. But the team should be good. It's good. We'll go as far as D'Lo will allow us to go, I believe, this year. Would you agree with that? As far as he's got to decide whether or not he wants to be the guy that keeps or shoots us out of games with his inconsistency, or can he do what he is best at, which is be a floor general and a facilitator and allow the pieces around him to elevate us to a Western Conference Finals level. I'm not saying that's where we'll go, but that's the level of talent that we have on this team.
A few things. That's my expectation for this team, actually.
Western
Conference Finals appearance. I think they're one of the best teams in the West, if not the whole league.
Mm-hmm.
And you made the Joe Burrow reference. These guys remind me a lot of the Bengals in the way that they're going to get overlooked all year.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think teams are going to take them very seriously. Really quick on Cat. I'm going to paraphrase one of my favorite comedians, John Mulaney.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gabe Noah.
He is one of my favorite ones, but I'm going to paraphrase John Mulaney here. If you want me to say that he's a giant bitch and that I hate him, I'm not going to do that. But Cat is a giant bitch, and I love him. So him moving to the 4, not having to play as physical, like hopefully the off-court antics or like not being that leader, he's more of just a piece now with our three-headed monster.
For sure. No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, the starting lineup right now looks like D'Lo at the point, Ant at shooting guard, which gives us a ton of length defensively. Jaden,
who's one of the better defensive players in the league at 3.
Yep, we'll play the 3, Cat at the 4, Rudy at the 5, which I like because then even Chris Finch said in an interview during Media Day yesterday, I believe, that the goal is to have either Cat or Rudy on the floor for the entire game, which leaves us with rim defenders at any given time. And then when you run into teams like Milwaukee or Philadelphia that have length, you have 2 guys in there that can,
let's not forget about Nas Reed either.
Exactly. So then you go to the 2, and you got Austin Rivers that's going to run the point. Ant stays at shooting guard. Kyle Anderson comes in at the 3. Jaden McDaniels moves to the 4, and Cat plays the 5. Between your top 2 lineups, you really don't lose a ton of production, either offensively or defensively. I can't remember the last time the Wolves were this deep, I guess, when you look at what their rotation is going to be throughout the course of an entire ballgame.
Top 25.
Exactly. Yeah. So incredibly excited. I got them at 55 wins. Where do you see them finishing at? You think that's about right?
I would say that's about right. Because I think 55, 56 gets you roughly gets you about the 2 seed.
Yeah.
The 1 seed's going to win about 58.
And who do you think that's going to be? The Lakers?
No, God no. I really hope that they miss the playoffs again, to be honest.
Me too. Yeah, so 2 seed for the Wolves. Looking forward to it. What do you expect to develop? I wanted to ask this. Anthony Edwards, it's been progression after progression after progression since he's pretty much been unleashed towards the second half of his rookie year. What do you think the next step in his game is? What are we going to see from him this year? Or what would you like to see from him this year that we haven't seen in years past that's going to really elevate him to being like a top 10 player in the league, which I think we both think he's capable of, right?
Yeah, he's definitely capable of it. Just to touch on what happened off the court, too, I think what he needs to elevate himself to is a level of maturity on and off the court.
Yeah.
He needs to realize who he is as a part of this organization and move forward as such, on and off.
Yeah, the consummate professional, the leader, the high-energy guy, for sure. I mean, he's still young. I mean, it's not like he's no excuse, right? Age is no excuse for some of the things that happened off the court, but maturity would be good. I would like to see him take control of the organization and maybe take those reins from Cat.
Maybe go to the Jason Tatum school of Kobe a little bit.
Yeah, and just be the guy. Learn how to be the leader in the locker room and the guy.
Because he is the future of this franchise.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And if we, you got to turn it over to him now because you got to think at some point there's a contract negotiation that's going to need to be had, and he's going to want to know that he's in a spot where he's the guy.
Right.
Highest paid, highest usage volume, things like that. That stuff has to start now to give him confidence, and that's who we're going to allow him to be throughout the remainder of his career. Right?
Ding, ding, ding.
All right. What a reference. What a reference. What do we got next?
Gophers looking golden. So the Minnesota Golden Gophers moved to 4-0 after a victory in East Lansing, Michigan over Michigan State. They won 34-7, looked dominant the entire game. Michigan State actually scored a garbage time touchdown.
Nice.
Now, how impressive is this team after 4 games?
Well, I think there are parts of this team that are incredibly impressive. Starting with their age, I think they're probably the most mature team in college football right now. PJ Fleck managed to keep a lot of these different guys that could have left in the last year or 2 with their COVID season in-house because they've been knocking on the door with some unfortunate injuries and things like that. So I think age is an area. I think our offensive line is a force to be reckoned with. There's a bunch of absolute meat movers that create a lot of gaps, holes, and spaces for a Heisman-level candidate in Mo Ibrahim, who has played out of his gourd returning from the knee injury that he suffered in week 1 of last year. And that has, because everybody's, the entire defense is sucking in to try to stop him, even minus some of our top wide receiving weapons, has allowed, Tanner Morgan, who's been here, like Mike said, since the conception of Minnesota Golden Gopher football, to play some decent quarterback play. And then when teams, when we have the time of possession that we have, the defense then gets to fly around and smack people and play high energy football because they're not trotted out there over and over and over and over again.
I mean, I'm looking at an article right now that was written in the fall of 2019.
Yep.
Starting quarterback Tanner Morgan and returning running back Mo Ibrahim. That's how long these guys have been here.
Yeah.
Very impressive win over Michigan State.
Yes.
I don't know how impressive Michigan State is going to be given their preseason ranking. They lost to Washington, though, in week 3. I don't know how good that team is actually going to end up being, so I don't know how good that win is going to be.
As long as it's not a loss.
Well, yeah, and they were dominant, right? So if you're going to be the better team, you need to show that you're going to be the better team for 4 quarters, which they did.
For sure.
The 3 wins before that, though, just aren't, jumping off the page. I mean, New Mexico State, Colorado, and Western Illinois, 3 of probably the worst teams.
Oh, for sure. But they dominated them, too.
They did. So they did what they should, right?
Right.
Purdue, that should be an easy win. Hopefully they don't get caught up in the activities surrounding homecoming.
Yes.
A bye week, Illinois should be a win. The first test is going to be Penn State. And then
we're at Penn State for the whiteout. That's going to be the closest thing the Gophers are going to see to Big Ten championship atmosphere all year.
Yeah. Well, maybe not all year. If they can win that game, Iowa and Wisconsin are the last 2 tests.
Yep.
This team can go 11-1. Or 12-0 and find themselves in a Big Ten championship.
Absolutely. What needs to happen? What do you need to see X's and O's wise that you haven't seen from them so far to make that the case?
X's and O's wise, a lot of questions were answered for me at Michigan State.
Okay.
Tanner Morgan was 23 of 26, extremely efficient, had
without
over
his top
250 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Ibrahim had a solid game on the ground as well. The offense showed up, and we know what this defense can do. So if they can continue to be consistent at the quarterback position, in my opinion, if Tanner can continue to be efficient in his attempts, we don't need him to throw for 400 yards. We need him to throw for 215 and have an 80% completion percentage so Mo can go to work.
Absolutely. And the back, it's so funny because I think, you could make an argument, right? Ooh, top 10 in playoff odds.
Breaking news.
We like that.
Just released.
Yeah, Gophers top 10 in ESPN college football playoff odds by Chris Shad?
Yep. Sports Illustrated.
Yep. Wow, we like
Thanks
this.
to our Glass Half Sports
analytics department.
Yeah.
Yeah, the schools ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Alabama, Ohio, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan, and USC. It's very weird to hear Minnesota next.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah. Michigan and Ohio State, only one of them is going to see us in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, because it's going to come out of the Big Ten East, and it's going to come down to those 2 teams. USC will probably have to be contend with next year after.
2024, I believe.
2024. But yeah, no, the Gophers are on the right track.
We've seen this a little bit before.
Yes.
Does it continue is the question.
I think they have what they have been missing in years past in order to get that done, which is a back that has risen to the caliber of Mo Ibrahim. Because when the bleeding starts to happen, you can turn around, hand the ball to him 3 times, and he will get you a first down and breathe some life into the offense. Where I don't think we've had that, like that guaranteed, like, all right, we got to slow the tempo down, try to recapture some momentum, or at least steal some of it from them. We didn't have that in years past. I think that is a big help. I also think we're putting teams in a situation that they're having to play into our strengths, which is we're taking a lot of time off the clock. They've got to try to score quick. And our back end, our safeties, our corners right now, I think could compete with most defensive back rooms in the country that probably aren't in the SEC.
Mo Ibrahim is statistically the best running back that the Gophers have ever seen.
Yes.
Which is saying a lot.
Because the last one was
anything
Lawrence
about
Maroney.
The Gophers. Well, Marion Barber.
Yep.
And then there's a handful of guys before that even. Lots of good running backs have gone through those halls.
Yeah.
And for him to be statistically the best, 6 years or 7 years in college helps. But his talent is off the charts.
Oh, for sure.
He could be in an NFL locker room tomorrow and help NFL teams.
Oh, for sure.
And that's who we have behind one of the better offensive lines in the nation, in my opinion. And what you just said, I think the defensive secondary as a whole is a very talented group.
For sure. For sure. Is Mo Ibrahim better than Ezekiel Elliott right now?
Yes. Is he a true Heisman candidate in your eyes?
Yes.
I would agree.
Yep. All right. Let us know what you guys think on the Golden Gophers and, the Wolves and Wild as they get into camp. Love to hear from you guys in the comment section. As always, if you leave comments, they will get thrown up on screen by our producer, Gabe, in the back. And we will be able to mock, respond, and or congratulate your genius take.
Troy Dye.
There we go. What's up, Troy? having a good day down there. I think he's at the shop for Triple Diamonds today. So big shout out to our Triple Diamonds guys in the sports card industry. What's next, Mikey?
Let's go Vikings review and preview. So let's go ahead and review the win that looked like a loss against the Lions.
So that's how you're going to phrase it.
I am.
So I drew a really good comparison, what I thought was a real good comparison. Maybe you guys can let me know, to how Dan Campbell played this game out. For those of you that play blackjack, every once in a while you'll sit down at the table with a guy who keeps getting dealt 16s, and he just keeps hitting, and you're like, oh my God, he just keeps beating the dealer. And then he's get this fat stack out there. It's getting late. He goes and he hits on that 16, and he busts, and the dealer flips a set. The dealer also goes out. You know what I mean? I just think he over-gambled throughout the course of this game from the Lions' perspective. All of those fourth down attempts, I agree with them all the way through until the last one. You have to kick the field goal there and apply a little bit more pressure to the Vikings. You have to.
They did, and they missed it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They did miss it. Then you should have stayed true to yourself and gone for it. Hindsight's 20/20, right? You can argue it either way. But Dan Campbell lost it. I will say, positives for the Vikings. It's not easy to overcome 2 10-point deficits in each half, right? So there's some encouragement there.
But you put yourself there.
Exactly. Well, you're going to make mistakes. We don't live a perfect world. Nobody plays a perfect game. There are going to be scenarios where you do put yourself up against it, and it's all about, can you overcome those mistakes? So I did like our ability to come back from that, and then very encouraging to see the offense get opened up to some of our other weapons. Dalvin Cook activated, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne in big spots. Even if with JJ not having a big day, for us to be able to score over 20 points and stay competitive, I think was progress in the right direction. Guys, we're still in game 3, right? The main concern for the Vikings is not on the offensive side of the ball. It's on the defense. Our defensive set, like our secondary, is atrocious. The offensive line played well. I think our receivers played well. Kirk didn't have a horrible game. It's the defensive back room that seems to be, that seems to not be able to cover a blade of grass right now.
So I will give Kirk credit on leading us down with a minute left and scoring a touchdown. Okay. Good job, Kirk. KJ Osborne
Alex?
was wide open.
Yep.
I think I could have thrown that.
Yep.
Right? But what's nice is that defensive secondary that you just trashed actually held on this time.
They did. But they also let up the 24. There were plenty of opportunities for them to make stops earlier in the game to keep us out of like 3rd and short situations that led to 4th and short situations that put us in bad spots.
So a few things for you. Our defense is 30th in yards allowed.
9th in points allowed.
9th, I think 10th in points allowed.
Yeah.
Our offense has scored 48 points through 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that math?
Not a lot of points.
16 points a game.
Yeah.
So I think the offense is the problem, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
Because if the defense is going to play bend, don't break, which statistically they've proven that that's what they're playing.
Okay.
You got to score points.
Yeah.
Conversely.
For
right?
sure.
So, I mean, I was expecting a KOC-led offense to come in here and put up 35, 42. Like, I would...
Per game? That's unrealistic.
Once in a while, how about?
Okay, yeah. And there's 14 weeks left.
Okay.
Those opportunities are coming.
And all I'm saying is I am not yet impressed.
And that's fine. I think one of the biggest things when I think about
I was impressed week 1 when nobody had seen it.
Right.
But now the challenge is.
Right. And I think the more we put on, and Kevin O'Connell made an interesting comment during his presser the other day where he was talking about his ability to work off inventory. Right. So I had kind of mentioned the other week that maybe his play sheet isn't as deep, and I think maybe that was the wrong way to approach it. He likes to, I think him and Sean McVay both like to put things on film, and even if it does result to a slow start, guys are going to start to adjust to what they see on film. And then he's going to go, well, I got to play that looks just like that for that look. And so I think some of it is we just have to get some of it out to unlock other pieces of the offense deeper in the season. So I'm not too horrendously concerned. I think the offense will only continue to improve.
I understand and agree with the take of putting stuff on film early in the season to capitalize it late in the season.
Yes.
But if you don't put yourself in a position to capitalize on it late in the season, what does it matter if you win week 16 if you're 4-12?
No, I totally. We're not going to. I mean, we're 2 wins away from 4 wins already.
That was a weird way to phrase it. But we got let off the hook. You can see the ghost of Denny Green at U.S. Bank Stadium.
We are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook.
Yep.
Because the Lions let us off the hook.
100%.
Okay?
We let them off the hook last year.
I am not going to look at this and go, yay, we won. We beat the Lions.
Hey, a win's a win.
We won the game, but we did not play better than the Detroit Lions for 4 quarters.
No. We absolutely
played better maybe the last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And escaped with a win because of it.
But here's the thing. The NFL is a results
That's a concern moving forward.
For sure, but it is a results-driven league. If you're putting a win in the win column, it doesn't matter how pretty it looks. It doesn't matter how ugly it looks.
We'll talk about that later,
too. You get the W. I think that's all that matters. One of the comparisons
in the long term, like this is why you guys say I don't like winning. This is a perfect example of why you say I don't like winning.
He's doing it to himself.
In the long term, how you play the game is much more important for your overall win total.
You're making this guy hit himself.
If I'm KOC, I'm not happy about this game.
I'm not saying you have to be happy, but you got out of there on a bad day with a team that plays hard with a win. There's not a whole lot you can truly complain about. Can you make adjustments? Yeah. Can you go back to the drawing board and tweak some things, tighten some things up? Can you are all of those things doable? Absolutely. But we're in week 3.
There's
Michael,
nothing I can complain about.
Week 4.
I mean, Jared Goff going for 280 is
That's the defensive secondary that you just protected.
Well, I'm just saying. There's things to work on, right? I mean,
I'm not saying that there's not anything to work on.
Yeah.
But do you think the Dalvin Cook injury is a concern?
No, he'll be back next week.
Ooh. Mark LeLuc, Zeke is on his way back, boys. Ibrahim is a beast, though. I think he will still have to develop his vision as the league is faster than college. Would you agree? Not with the Zeke is on his way back part, but with everything.
The league is faster than college.
100%.
But at the same time, when you're playing Big Ten football, that's where those really good NFL running backs typically come from.
Yeah.
Going back years.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly think Mo Ibrahim could legitimately walk into an NFL locker room tomorrow
and 1,300 yards
and be fine.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Dalvin Cook injury, a concern?
No. He'll be back for London, I believe.
Lack of pass rush, a concern?
Little bit, but the Lions, that's like one of the Lions' strengths, right?
Yeah, as their offensive line play. They do have a very rapidly developing offensive line. It was crazy to me how clean Jared Goff stayed through that entire game. Even when we were just man up. You know what I mean? Like, they've got guys out there that play well.
Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, like, they're good.
Is Glasnow still with them? No, Glasnow's somewhere else now, isn't he?
I believe so.
Okay. So, yeah, that'll do it for the preview or the review of the Vikings' last week's victory over the Detroit Lions. And then this week, we get to jump across the pond for the early morning game that Mike won't get to watch.
Yeah. Playing in London, in North London, actually, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Brand new stadium. It's probably one of the most state-of-the-art stadiums in the world.
It looks very beautiful.
8:30 a.m. kickoff for Central Standard Timers like us. The Vikings
Nobody's staying up on Saturday night in the state of Minnesota. Right. Everybody getting up early.
So the big storyline is that the Saints have been there all week.
Yeah.
And that the Vikings are flying out this evening on the red eye. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is a concern?
I like the way that the staff decided to look at it based off yesterday's press conferences. We opted not to get our bye right off the back of this.
Did the Saints?
Yes.
Okay.
So not getting the bye off the back of this would lead me to believe it would be for long-term success. I would rather have us.
Oh, you're talking about long-term success now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm listening.
For long-term success, I would rather have us go and come back and not have changed too dramatically. The Saints are going to be there all week. And if they're going to change that, they're sleeping on, the London time schedule. They're practicing on the London time schedule. They're going to play on that schedule. Then they're going to come back and they're going to have to flip if they had a game the following week to, the time zones over here in America. That's tough. Running over there, playing a game and running back, while you will be exhausted as long as the following week you take care of player recovery, I think is the better thing for the team. So the approach I don't disagree with.
The weird part for me is how much is their time going to be adjusted before they're playing a game at basically 8:30 in the morning on their time.
Right, and if you've noticed, the practices have been shifted a tad bit forward this week. So they have been practicing earlier. That's why Kevin O'Connell's press conference yesterday, instead of being at its regularly scheduled 3:25, was at like 1. So they've, I'm assuming, moved everything forward 2 hours. Doing that here, I mean, is it enough? Time will tell. But I think that will give more than enough. These guys are professional athletes. Show up and get ready to play. You know what I mean? There's also some things that Adam Thielen...
So travel's not a concern?
I don't want to say it's not a concern, because the Vikings have come out slow and sluggish in the last 2 games. I'm very worried about that. But just the way that they've talked about it, the way that they've handled it, the way that they made the decision not to take the bye the week after, which only would lead me to believe that they have a plan in place that they believe is a successful plan. And I will believe in the leadership to do so.
All right, let's shift to on the field. The Saints are a solid team, I would say.
Meh.
Lacking a quarterback.
Meh, yeah. And a running and their top wide receiver potentially for this weekend.
I think they're decent roster-wise. They're old in some spots and really young in some other spots.
Yep.
Their defensive highlight to watch for is going to be Marshawn Lattimore,
and
who in theory is going to shadow Justin Jefferson the entire time.
And he's probably going to get bracket coverage with Tyrann Mathieu from the safety position.
And then offensively, it's all about number 41, Alvin Kamara. So what are your thoughts on the actual game and how that goes?
I think from the offensive perspective, or from our defensive perspective against the Saints offense, the key here is going to be, I need to see some blitz packages from our defense to activate Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith. Not been impressed whatsoever over the last 2 weeks. Not with their play, but just how we've decided to activate them. I think with a quarterback, if Jameis plays, that is a tad bit more interception prone. Moving him off of his spots, hurrying him up is going to be the best thing. That's what other teams do to Kirk Cousins. And even if it's Andy Dalton hasn't played a ton, so put some guys in his face. Make him make quick decisions.
Andy Dalton and Marc-Andre Fleury, 2 guys that were pretty dang good at their craft in 2015. All right. So let us know what you guys think about the Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints meeting in London.
You got a score prediction before you just jump off this topic, bud?
25-19, Vikings.
That sounds like a London score.
Yeah, right.
I had 21-17 Vikings.
Ooh, nice.
With 2 picks from Jameis and a big game from KJ.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So we are going to transition to our week 3 3-word game.
Yeah, we can wait for Gabe to get the graphic up for this, because I know I don't want to leave him in the lurch back there. But the premises of this game is we're going to take a look at every game from week 3, and we're going to describe it in 3 words. You got your phrases ready?
Yeah, my phrases kind of go into each other too because of how these games went.
All right, so first game is going to be the Bills the Bills taking the loss to the Dolphins. What are your 3 words to describe this game, Michael?
Dolphins for real?
No, maybe. I mean, that's going to be up for you. That's going to be up for debate for the remainder of the season with Tua as their quarterback, I believe.
I wonder how many times a team has had a punt blocked by their own team and still won the game.
Yeah, the butt punt.
Butt pump. If you haven't seen the butt punt,
go watch
check it out. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I had Bills heat check. Listen, playing in that Miami Heat and that heat wave is tough. Let's also keep in mind everybody wants to crown Tua off the back of this Bills game. The Bills were missing 6 defensive starters to start the game.
They were week 1 too.
True, but when you're missing, 2 of your 3 top corners, you're missing a safety, you're missing a defensive lineman, you're missing a linebacker, all guys that are pretty typically key pieces to your defense, and you're playing in that heat. So the guys that usually don't get a lot of burn are out there, and field temp was probably, 115 degrees? That's going to be a tough game to win. The real test, and if I have any belief in Miami, will be when they go to Buffalo in December, when everybody's healthy, and let's run this thing back and see if they still have it.
Well, if Buffalo wins, can't you just blame it on the cold?
You could, but then we'd be 50-50.
Ravens at Patriots is the next game up. Ravens win 37-26. My 3 words, Patriots really bad.
Yeah, that sounds about. I mean, your grammar there sounds like Matt Patricia calling
I only have
offensive
3
plays.
words.
Yeah, I know.
Why use many words when short word will do?
Yeah, I am simple man. I speak in short phrase.
Hear me roar.
Yeah. No, Patriots are very bad. Anything in particular? And the Mac Jones injury is tough.
Yeah, they don't really have an identity on either side of the ball.
No.
Which is shocking from a Bill Belichick-led team.
I would agree with you there. You want to know what my 3 words are?
Yeah.
Where's my money? Pay that man.
Well,
Pay Lamar James. Lamar Jackson. Sorry, LeBron James sprinted through my head there. You got to pay Lamar Jackson. He is currently on pace to be this year's league MVP.
I think he's on pace for 65 total touchdowns.
Yeah. That's a lot of touchdowns, Mike.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
And he's doing it throwing the ball. So for all the critics out there that are like, Lamar's not a top 10 quarterback, he can't throw the football, it's all about results. Is he throwing touchdowns? Yes. Is he throwing a lot of picks? No. Are you winning football games? Absolutely. You have to pay Lamar. The fact that they're being petty and only offered him $133 million guaranteed is a joke for him. Look at what he's with no weapons. Everybody's he can't elevate receivers. He's doing it with Rashad Bateman.
Who's a weapon, man? Where's your Gopher fandom at?
I don't know. Okay. You want to do a would you rather with Rashad Bateman? Because I think we'd get through about 25 to 30 other receivers before you would take him.
Yeah, which means he's a top 1 receiver in the NFL with 32 teams.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, well then stop bitching.
Oh, Jesus
All right,
Christ.
Chiefs-Colts. Chiefs lost to the Colts 17-20.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. Everyone gets one. The Colts weren't going to go 0-17, and the Chiefs weren't going to go 17-0.
Well, the Colts were going to go 0-16-1.
Yeah. But my point being, it was a bad special teams day for the Chiefs, and they were still in position after all of the mistakes that they made to beat Indianapolis at home. Indianapolis doesn't impress me, at all.
No. Not at all.
At all.
Ryan is a fraud.
Yes.
I said it last week. I'll say it this week. Matt Ryan is a fraud.
Your 3 words, Mikey.
What is going on? What's going on? I need the contraction there for 3 words. What's going on?
Good grammar. What is going on, Mike?
The NFL's weird, man.
It has been a clunky and disjointed start to the season.
This is my first 3-word combination that kind of bleeds into the others.
All right, so we can move on to the Jags absolutely destroying the Chargers.
38-10.
That's a big gap, Mike.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Are my 3 words.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doug Peterson is pretty much all I can say, right?
Culture's
we knew the Jaguars were actually a somewhat talented team. They have a lot of youth that played very well in college.
They play so hard.
And yeah, now that they're playing with intensity and playing football the right way, instead of as a job like they were under Urban Meyer, you're seeing Trevor Lawrence flourish. You're seeing the defense. I mean, they've allowed 10 points in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Welcome back to Duval.
That's insane.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's really good.
So this is a team to watch, I think.
I think they win their division.
Yeah. I mean, my pick out of that division was the Titans, who's close to being the worst team in the NFL all of a sudden.
Yeah. Also, super interesting. We'll get to this. I don't think it's on our week 4 preview, but guess who marches into Philadelphia this week? Doug Peterson with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he gets his homecoming game. If he manages to rough up Philly, he's gonna be putting some people on notice.
That'd
for
be
sure.
Yeah. So Duval this week for sure.
Yeah. So my 3 words for this game with bolts are broken. Physically. Joey Bosa going to miss multiple games now. Slater out for the season. And on not a great offensive line already with Justin Herbert mid-rib injury. This is a cause for concern in more areas than one because they are so much like the Bills are very Josh Allen-centric. The Bolts are very Justin Herbert-centric. And if you can't keep him upright and these injuries only continue to pile up, they could find themselves slipping right out of the playoff picture.
Are you shocked that there's 5 wins between all of the teams in the AFC West?
Yeah.
In 3 weeks?
Well, I guess we kind of knew that it was going to be our carnivorous division, but they haven't really played each other like that
5
yet.
wins out of 12 games, though.
Yeah.
Maybe Maybe not the best division in football.
I mean, maybe they just painted such a large target on themselves during free agency that.
I mean, 2 of them lost to the Colts and Jaguars this week.
Yeah, how about that? The AFC South just fucking taking it to people.
It's weird, man.
And the Texans aren't bad.
Let's talk about the Broncos. We're also in the AFC West.
Yeah.
So, Niners-Broncos. If you watch that game, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no shit.
49ers 10, Broncos 11.
Yeah.
You want to know my 3 words?
Yeah.
So I went from what's going on to what the fuck. Pigs are flying.
Oh,
Pigs are flying.
Yeah, when pigs fly. I had what was that?
We're all shocked.
I have no words. And I think you'll agree with me here. The Broncos have a head coaching problem.
The Broncos have a lot of problems.
Head coach
might have a quarterback problem.
I've started to look at that as well. When was the last time, ladies and gentlemen, that Russell Wilson played like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? Was it last year? No.
That's a good question.
And all of a sudden, it's the main concern was, Seattle can't protect Russ.
He has 2 touchdowns through 3 games.
He's overthrowing and underthrowing receivers. He looks uncomfortable in that offense.
The worst rating of his career thus far by almost 10 points.
Mm-hmm. So there's obviously some issues in Denver's offense. I think some of it does have to do with Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett needs to understand that he's not coaching Aaron Rodgers. He is coaching Russell Wilson and needs to build an offense for Russell Wilson, not just hope he can drop Russ into Aaron Rodgers' play style and see success. They're similar in mobility and the ability to throw the deep ball, but outside of that, their makeup, their build, how they get things done is very different. So there's that. And then news. There we go. Minneapolis chosen as the contingency site if Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game has to relocate because of a hurricane. Ian, this is actually NFL law, believe it or not. If you are the team that is playing in the international series, your home stadium automatically becomes the the emergency site for games. So it would have been between us and New Orleans. But with New Orleans also being down there near some of the storms, it's going to come on up here to Minnesota.
Why do you know that? Why the fuck do you know that? It makes no sense. Get a fucking life, loser.
So what surprised me the most about the 49ers and Broncos game was the lack of amount of times the Niners ran the football.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wilson averaging 6.2 yards a carry, only got the ball 12 times. Jordan Mason, only 1 carry.
Yeah.
Debo had 5 and didn't do anything with them. So it's just interesting because that is their formula. 13, 18, 19. They ran the football 19 times. Jimmy G threw it 30.
Yeah.
That's not the Niners we know.
No.
So interesting.
Very interesting. And then and Gabe, can I get this camera right here real quick? There we go. Hey, Niners fans, it's going to be okay. Jimmy G is not as bad as I have seen all of the media outlets make him out to be for the last 7 days. He hasn't practiced in 8 months. They removed him from the team pretty much to get Trey Lance ready, and we see how that all turned out. But this guy has brought you to a Super Bowl. This guy has brought you to an NFC Championship game, and he pretty much got 6 days to get ready and then played against a pretty legitimate defense. And you almost won. Chill out. It's gonna be okay. That's all I have. It was just like all week. Oh, well, Jimmy G has regressed. He's running out of the back of the end zone and throwing pick sixes. Okay, listen. He was on the 1. We've also seen Kyler Murray do the same thing, and people crucified him less for that.
Kyler Murray ran out of the back of the end zone?
He was in the end zone and decided to throw it left-handed to a Rams player who returned it for a pick.
Well, yeah, but that's not running through the back of the end zone, right?
You're right. Jimmy only cost his team 2 points. Kyler cost his team 6.
Well, yeah, but the only other quarterback I can think of that ran
Dan
out of the back...
Orlovsky.
Orlovsky, yeah.
Orlovsky.
Dane
Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky.
Dane Orlovsky.
Oh, all right.
But yes, it's going to be fine. With the media, just chill the fuck out. It just drives me crazy how everybody wants to dogpile on this. And then for the guys that were in the booth, by the way, for the game to sit back and be like, oh, well, it's because Jimmy G didn't have the playbook all offseason. you're going to sit here and tell me that the offensive scheme has changed that much between Jimmy G and Trey Lance, or that because he had been there for the last 4 years, it's going to be all this world-altering change to go back to what you were doing previously. Don't buy either one of those things. Bad media angles. Do better.
Either way, their strategy was to run the football.
Yes.
And they didn't do that.
Well, that's why they lost.
All right. So let us know what you thought about week 3 and give us your 3 words to describe one of the games that you watched.
Yeah. Expletives allowed.
Yeah, just use the asterisks.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So with that, we're going to try a new segment here. It's called Mike's Minutes.
It's actually, you're going to try a new segment here.
I'm going to try a new segment.
Yeah.
Do you get thoughts?
Sure. If you want them.
I'll give you thoughts.
Sure.
Well, I want to kick off here, first of all, giving congratulations to Albert Pujols. Has been a power hitter in the MLB since I can remember.
Yeah.
Cranked out 699 and 700 in Los Angeles. Became the 4th player to ever hit 700 home runs.
Impressive.
Few cool statistics. He has 500. Let me triple check this. Make sure I get the right one. He has 500 home runs off right-handers and exactly 200 off lefties.
Huh.
So the question I have for you, how many games do they have left?
8.
What can he get to, and does he retire?
I think he has to retire because there's actually a theory going around. I don't know if anybody has seen this, that in order to get him to 700, that they've been giving him a little bit of a juiced bat to get across the finish line because he was very sluggish getting around the 690s number. But for the sake of baseball, you know what I mean? They wanted him to get there for,
So who do you
purposes.
think gave him the juice bat?
Oh, the MLB. For headlines. So that is going around. I'm not saying that it happened.
That would be so stupid if they did that.
I'm just saying.
Risk his whole legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is floating around there. What was your question?
What does he get to?
I think he probably gets to 702. And then he's got to retire cuz he's very obviously on, like, if there was ever a tire that had tread that now looks like a NASCAR tire, it's Albert Pujols.
Fair enough. So congratulations to Albert Pujols. Another story around the MLB about home runs. Aaron Judge hits number 61.
I think I could hit 61 homers at a Little League ballpark, though.
All right. Cool for him. The ball actually lands in the bullpen. He gets the ball back for free. He doesn't have to haggle with a fan.
Interesting.
Like that.
Interesting.
What?
I'm just saying, there seems to be a lot of easy coincidences in the MLB these days.
You know how hard it is to control a ball that's going 99 miles an hour? Or like 107 off the bat?
No.
That's my point. There's no way they're planning this stuff. Hit 61. That's significant. Why, Nick?
Because it's the AL all-time home run record.
Yep. Ties him with...
Gabe, you should know this.
Can I tell you something more significant?
Roger Maris.
Yeah,
Roger
that's
Maris.
that's what I was actually waiting to talk about.
Yeah.
I actually find it to be sort of depressing.
Yeah.
Because Roger Maris is now, in my mind, relegated to a footnote of history.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Minnesota guy, Fargo. He's from our area. It was his kind of one claim, and now this, what I consider just an undiscovered roid monster, has tied his record.
Aaron Judge looks like the guy you create on MLB The Show.
Yes.
He's LeBron James for baseball.
It's unreal. I just feel, and especially, you want to go try to hit a home run in the Yankee Stadium that Maris played in?
Right.
You want to go, or even just in Tiger Stadium where he played 12 times a year, or any of these enormous things.
You're right.
It really does kind of highlight for me, and I know I'm the guy who does that, who kind of tips his hat to the old timers, but it is something, those guys were whatever. They were incredible, and I think it's sad in a way.
Yeah, playing in a dead ball era.
And I hate the Yankees.
I also
but
hate
I don't
the
hate the 60s Yankees as bad as I hate
today's Yankees. Yeah. I don't know. My only take on this is all of the jabronis out there in the sports media that are like, Judge's 61 is better than Bonds' 73. Hang up your microphone.
Oh.
You're an idiot.
I've got one clip I could show them.
I've seen it all over TikTok this week.
Did you see his at bat against Gagne?
No.
That's one that's going around. Man, so I remember when it happened because I'm old, but it was in the playoffs, and it was against Eric Gagne, who was throwing 101. I mean, it is the most impressive at bat I've ever seen in my life. Like, Eric Gagne was just unhittable.
Yeah. And
Bonds is ahead of 101 mile an hour fastball, pulling it out of the stadium. He follows it up with a slider. Bonds sticks with it, which is a nasty slider, hits it out to dead center field. Like, it's so, he works the count. I mean, it's amazing.
Bonds is
go watch Bonds.
Much better hitter than Aaron Judge.
Bonds is the greatest hitter of all time.
Pete Rose.
Well, he has the most hits, and I love Pete Rose, and you know I love Pete Rose. Don't come at me like that, but Bonds is a better hitter.
So, question for you, Nick. Does Aaron Judge break it?
Does he break the 62?
Yep.
How many games we got left?
8.
Roughly, depending on which team.
Yeah. Probably. The MLB will give it to him.
What's your conspiracy with baseball stuff?
All right, Aaron, it's 3-2. I'm going to throw you this ball here. You just got to make contact with it. It's made of flubber. It'll bounce right off the bat.
They do tip pitches like, every now and then, but not the league. And certainly he can't control whether he hits in the bullpen or not.
I'm just saying, for the sake of baseball and it being newsworthy ahead of the playoffs, it would be smart to allow Judge to get 62.
Is he still in the running for the Triple Crown?
Yes.
Arias is going to fail?
Well, I don't think Arias has any shot at the Triple Crown.
Well, not that, but the batting average, which will keep him, that'll keep Judge away from it.
Gotcha. Judge is the MVP regardless of the league this year.
Well, actually,
he's got a 10.2 WAR.
What is Shohei's when you combine it? And I know
he doesn't play for a relevant team.
I know that, and I know he won't, but I don't know. It's very hard to... have you looked at Shohei's stats this year? We are actually used to his greatness. Like, we're actually now already normalizing that he's hitting, I believe it's like...
34 home runs, 93 ribbies. He's batting 273. Pitching-wise, let's see pitching.
He's in the top 5, I think, ERA or something like that.
I did see that.
It's like we're not even talking about it. We're already used to it.
That's who he is. That's what's expected now. He wants to get some more pub, take another step. Hit 290 and 40 homers.
Or play for a team that wins.
Yeah, or play for a team that wins. In a media market that cares.
He's 14-8 with a 2.47 ERA.
Still not going to win MVP.
5.4 pitching WAR.
You can't have a guy like Aaron Judge break a record.
Yeah, he's just
carry the Yankees and not win MVP.
He's had that year. Yeah, yes. For sure.
So, yeah, that's what I got on Aaron Judge.
All right, moving forward, the NFL Pro Bowl changes. I don't know if you heard about this, but the NFL is going away with the Pro Bowl. It's making it like a 3-day event with skills competitions and then capping it off with a flag football game.
Thank God.
Why?
Because we've been it's been patty cake football in the Pro Bowl for the last 5 years.
Yeah, so go back to the way it was 20 years ago.
And what? People taking each other's heads off? You can't. Yeah. The players won't do it. It's not like it's a.
Pay them.
There's not enough money in the world
to play one more just true football game.
Yes, because a lot of those guys, those Pro Bowl selections,
play for money
in contract years, you leverage that for their negotiation. If you make the Pro Bowl and then you get hurt at the Pro Bowl, you lose all your leverage.
It's all about
and
incentive.
You miss the first half of the year next year.
It's all about incentive.
No, I disagree with you completely. I've never disagreed with you more in my life, and I've disagreed with you on a lot of things. The NFL needed to change the Pro Bowl, and there's a lot of really cool things that they could do to get this right.
I know. I just go back to Sean Taylor lighting up that punter.
I don't disagree with you. That's a cool moment to have.
And we're not going to have it anymore, ever again.
Well, you could do events.
The NFL is transferring to flag football.
Come on, man. Pro Bowl.
From your political standpoint and everything, this is such a snowflake thing to do.
It's in the Pro Bowl, dude. It's not that big a deal.
What is the Peyton Manning overseeing thing?
I bet he does the rules or whatever.
Yeah, I bet you he puts the events together and stuff. He's been trying to be involved. I believe it or not, I think because he didn't get the Broncos. It would not surprise me if Peyton started to look at Goodell's job.
Oh, he'd be a good pick. I think
he's such an NFL guy.
Let us know what you think about the NFL Pro Bowl.
Well,
so we both agree that the last 5 years was trash.
Yes.
But I would like to see a legitimate game of all-stars being played. Give it more incentive. If it's not money, then do something. Like, hey, the NFC gets all of the interleague games at home if they win. Something like that. Like, there's something you can do. Like, hey, if you win the Pro Bowl, every interleague game is played at home for that conference that year.
Am I the only one who loves the skills competition?
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
You can do events like Best Grab, and you could grade it out like a dunk competition. Like, line the wide receivers up and put it just outside their reach and see who can come up with the craziest grab. I would love to see that.
What about just like wide receiver versus cornerback studs, like one-on-one games or something like that?
Yeah,
but what if they get hurt?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think the same likelihood is flag.
Yeah. You could also do a thread the needle thing for the quarterbacks.
Love that.
Put them heads up, and then you're each throwing it first at a 5-yard target that's pretty big, and then you back it up, and the target gets smaller. And then it's elimination style. You play through a tournament, showing off arm talent. You got to do it on the run. You got to do it whatever.
Have the linemen do Rochambeau.
Yeah, I mean I was gonna say for the big guys, you could do like weighted sled push. Way down the sled and see who can move the most weight. For defenders, we could do a Sean Taylor event. Running start to hit a pad that calculates how hard you tackle.
Let's just have them go through the American Gladiator series.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Let a fan go out and get tackled by the
I would sign
defenders.
up. I would sign up
100%. Have a fan return a punt for $1 million.
Dude, you could get the 100-meter races we haven't been getting at this thing.
Over my return a punt for $1 million.
No, I totally agree with you.
So
I think
awesome.
that'd be awesome. But like, think about it this way: you could start to get like the Tyreek Hill DK Metcalf race nationally televised.
Ooh, I like that. There's a lot of fun to be had.
And
fuck the game.
Mike's poo-pooing all of it.
Always.
Plus the NFL.
What did you like about the game, Mike?
What?
What did you like about the game? Oh, the fact that no one wins, that it doesn't matter.
Yes. All right, so let's go from the fear of injury to the fear of injury coming true. And Byron Buxton is to undergo surgery, arthroscopic surgery on his knee that has plagued him for 3 years, basically.
So I heard the MRIs actually confirmed what we all had feared for so long. Byron Buxton is actually made out of thin porcelain.
Yeah, and that's the right knee that he's getting surgery on. Basically, I have come to the conclusion from my years of medical school that he strained the right hip due to overcompensation from pain in the knee. So that was his last injury of the season that kept him from reaching that 100-game mark that everybody said he needed to hit if this contract was worth it. So,
yep.
I mean, just to tell you guys, Buxton is entering surgery on his knee as an explosive athlete. Something to be concerned about there as a Twins fan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I want your opinion on whether or not this contract and bringing him back was worth it at this point.
No. You had to do it, but
no,
it is not worth it.
You didn't have to do it.
You could not let him walk for nothing. You could not let him walk for nothing.
Sign and trade.
The ball's in his court to sign. We waited too long to engage in these negotiations. He held all the leverage.
Okay, then once he signs,
he's got a no trade clause, I believe. Gabe, can you confirm?
We trade him now? Yeah, I can look that up right now.
But yeah, I think he does have a no trade clause.
Let me look.
Which was, I think, one of the things that he was negotiating for because he wanted.
There's no trade clause.
Yeah, see? Because he wanted control of his future. You had to do it this way. Now, if you go to him and be like, listen, we tried it. Based on how we're built, We will do you a solid, and this would make the Twins organization look really good if they did this publicly. Hey, it's not working. Where would you like to go? Get him to one of the places he wants to go play in. He may win a ring, and that's going to kill a lot of Minnesota sports fans. But
he may be on the bench as the team that he's on wins a ring. Let's be honest.
And that's okay. But then you can get something in return for him. You can get farm pieces. You can get pitching. You can get hitting. But you got I'm saying shop him. The minute he starts his rehab, you got to shop him.
You're through 1 year of a 7-year deal with $100 million guaranteed.
Trade him. Bye. Take that money and spend it on re-signing Correa.
Byron Buxton is the greatest that never was.
He was the fastest that never stole bases. He was the yeah. I agree with you. He had all of the talent and none of the health.
So let us know what you think about Mike's minutes. So Pujols hits 700, NFL Pro Bowl changes, and Byron Buxton goes under the knife.
Judge hit 61.
Judge hit 61 too. Sorry, I had that.
All good, dude.
I just don't know how to read sometimes.
Yeah, well, third grade level counts.
So let's look forward to the weekend of football that's on us. So Thursday night in about 6.5 hours.
On us?
Yeah.
Oh.
Upon us.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
On us. Upon us. Third grade reading level. Miami at Cincinnati. Who do you have taking this one? Cincinnati breaks out some sweet all-white uniforms.
Oh, they're going to look so good on primetime, except you were probably right. Joe Burrow will not have a white anything by the end of this game except for maybe his helmet. I do have Cincy winning 30-24. I worry about Miami's defense with how fast Cincinnati plays on a short week after the conditions they played in on Sunday. Also, if you take a look at who the Bengals have been over the last 6 quarters of football, they have been the Cincinnati Bengals that we saw last year. They're getting back to running the football. They're chucking the ball around the yard a little bit. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a big challenge. Tua's going to have to step up. If they can move him off the spot, geez, 3-in-1 show. Here we go.
Never mind. You just said it. This said 4 hours ago, so I didn't know you'd know it.
Oh, expected to play. Yep.
Yeah.
Move him off the spot, put hands in his face, test his athleticism. You know who Tua is. Tua in Alabama was a guy that was good enough to hit really fast, wide open receivers when he's standing in the pocket.
If only he had really fast, wide open. Oh,
he does. A second. Exactly. So it'll be the pressure will be on Cincinnati's secondary in their pass rush to win them this game. That's what it'll come down to.
You guys see his pass to Tyreek Hill that he kind of underthrew him? So
Tyreek was waiting in a lawn chair.
Pretty much. He had to come back to it.
Yeah.
And I saw a bunch of people debating whether it was Tua's arm strength. And I heard a lot of people this is not his arm strength. It's just that Tyreek Hill is this fast.
No.
And I was like, God, it didn't look like much of a throw, but I don't know. I figured Mike would know better as a mechanics guy. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. If you have a really fast receiver and not a very strong arm, you can make it look like you have a very strong arm if you get rid of the ball quick.
And
that's one thing on that play specifically. That was a little bit of a broken play, and he tried to throw it deep late. And, yeah, it looked like he was throwing the ball 40 yards.
Like a Chad Pennington-esque level arm? Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, I'd go as far as Chad Powers.
I don't even know who that is.
Look it up if you don't know.
Okay.
I think Tua and Case Keenum have the same arm strength.
Okay. That's too bad.
So, yeah, see? The accurate comparison?
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah.
He's no Jeff George.
No.
Oh, I love Jeff George.
I know
I'm actually going to go Miami 27, Cincinnati 24.
Ooh.
And Cincinnati's driving, but Joe Burrow gets sacked on the final drive for the game.
Oh, no. Super Bowl PTSD.
Yep. Spent a lot to upgrade the offensive line, and statistically is not an upgrade thus far.
Yeah, I wonder what the disconnect has been there.
I mean, sometimes you got to play this game, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll switch to our highlighted noon game. On Sunday, it's going to be Tennessee at Indianapolis.
I mean, I picked this game because, in essence, somebody dies in week 4 here.
Yeah.
Matt
Ryan is a fraud.
And Ryan Tannehill needs to be benched.
Dude, can you imagine how bad a quarterback would be if his name was Matt Ryan Tannehill?
Really bad.
Oof. I just thought of that. I'm going to go Tennessee is the one that gets buried here. Goes to 0-4. Indianapolis is...
No, they won last week. Did they not?
Did they?
I believe they did. I believe they have 1 win on the year.
Oh, that's right, because the Raiders are the only 0-3 team.
Correct.
All right, so we got 1-2 versus 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee still gets buried.
Yeah. I have Indianapolis taking it 14-24.
I'm concerned about Derrick Henry.
Same.
I just don't know because this is my hypothesis, is because he is a very physical type back. You can't do that for forever.
I don't think it's like he's losing tread or anything. I think the versatility of the Titans offense has been gutted over the last year and a half.
Well, now it's the AP syndrome.
Right. And so unless he can elevate to a first ballot Hall of Fame level running back,
which he was 2 years ago.
Well,
kind of my point
with some supporting talent, which he does not have now, right? He's truly going to have to carry the team. Then yeah, there is reason for concern. However, me and you have talked about it for 2-3 weeks in a row now. They are a quarterback change away. That's me. They are a quarterback change away from being a relevant offense again. They really are. RPO with Malik Willis and Derrick Henry.
So they're a quarterback change and a scheme change.
I mean, yeah.
That's tough in week 4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
But when you're not in the playoff race, you got plenty of time to make adjustments.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the thing. So they're going to have to drop out of the playoff race for that adjustment to be made, I think.
For sure. But then at least you're not
Does it happen this week?
I think so. I really do. I think they lose. Couple of things. Colts are at home, and they get Darius Leonard back. And the Titans have zero threat throwing the football. They're going to stack the box, and it's going to be a really, really, really tough day for Derrick Henry.
24 carries, 74 yards.
Maybe less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he has had games in the past where, you know, A.J. Brown had been hurt or Ryan Tannehill was banged up, where it's 26 carries for 54 yards. Like, there have been days like that for him, and it would not surprise me if that is still the case.
Breaking news, actually. That wasn't you. NFL security investigates whether someone filmed Dolphins practice on Wednesday. I have an idea who it was.
Bill Belichick.
No, I was going to say Phil Telechek.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it happens all over sports, folks. I spied on a future opponent third grade football game on Tuesday. It happens.
How do they get caught then, I wonder? If it's that common, like, you know.
Well, they're wearing a Patriots pullover.
Yeah.
They run away from security and get into their car with Massachusetts plates. It's kind of easy, right?
I don't know. Maybe when they do the investigation, what they'll find out is that Tua's talent was taking a peek in and was like, I don't want to be a part of that, and just exited stage left.
Hating on Tua, man.
He's not a good quarterback.
Neither is Jalen Hurts, but they're 6-0 together.
How good are the Dolphins really? Like, I mean, are they a Super Bowl contender?
They're a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl
contender. They're a quarterback. They have their quarterback. Oh, Nicholas.
I think if you replace Tua with... There's 15 guys you could replace Tua with, and they'd be a Super Bowl worthy team. Right now, they'll be lucky if they get
him to be those 15 guys, though, as evidence.
They will in the playoffs.
They've been beating playoff type teams. They just did on week 3.
Okay, 71 plays were run by the Bills' offense. 66 of them included Josh Allen either running or distributing the football in 100-degree heat.
Okay, and they put up 17 points.
We run that back in December, the Dolphins are going to get embarrassed.
So it comes down to who has home field advantage in the playoffs then, is what you're saying.
And it'll be the Bills.
Well, the Dolphins keep playing like this. I don't know, man.
When they lose tonight,
they're the 1 seed right now.
When they lose tonight, you'll come back. How can you enjoy winning so much for every other franchise in Minnesota sports teams?
Your statement has no logic behind it.
God damn.
So with that, let's transition to Monday Night Football.
You must be an Eagles fan, too.
So these videos popped up on social media. That's interesting.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
Okay.
How dare you, by the way?
We live in 2022.
Well,
I can put a camera in my glasses.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about drones?
Of course, but to go film it and then put it on social media, it's a little traceable. It's just odd, like that they're, whatever. It's on so many media things.
You know, maybe it was the Miami Dolphins hired a security team. Hey, man, I want you to try to film our practice, see if you can get around.
I just think the blame is on Miami's security team.
Yeah.
How about learn to if somebody is very evidently filming practice and it's popping up on social media, you have a security breach.
Yep.
Figure it out.
Are you okay with other teams doing that, though? Like, I mean, it's just cheating's fine because everyone does it.
It's only cheating if you get caught.
Shame on you.
You're morally bankrupt.
Absolutely.
Did you just figure that out now?
Well, yeah, I'm so morally bankrupt, I usually don't notice.
I have to float above Gabe's waterline.
All right. Monday Night Football, Rams at Niners.
It'll be a good game. Shanahan does somewhat have McVay's number.
I was looking forward to this game a lot more 3 weeks ago.
Why? When Trey Lance was a starter?
And the Rams were good?
Yeah, they some holes in that team. I think they'll right the ship. Cam Akers seems to be coming back around. So, I mean,
3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC West have allowed more points than they've scored through 3 games.
Yeah. Weird.
Mm-hmm. The only team that hasn't is the Niners.
Yeah. The Rams defense can be run on if Trent Williams is healthy. That's going to be the key to this. If Trent Williams plays and Shanahan wants to do the Jimmy Garoppolo special, which is run the ball 40 times and let him throw it 20, they'll win the ball game. If Trent Williams isn't healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get sacked 8 times.
If Jimmy G throws the ball more than 25 times, the Niners lose. If he throws it under 24 or under, they win.
Yeah. The other thing to remember here is the Rams' offensive line has not looked great, and the Niners' defense looks like it is in Super Bowl form.
Yeah, and I don't trust Matt Stafford as much as I did last year.
Mm-mm. Without OBJ, without that plethora of
his elbow being healthy.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Can I
ask you guys? I found this article with 4 little questions about this game. Can I quiz you guys real quick?
Sure.
It should be fast. I want to see what you guys think. So, number 1, will Jalen Ramsey pick Garoppolo? So we're doing predictions.
No.
Yes.
Will Aaron Donald sack Garoppolo?
Yes.
Yes.
Cam Akers rushes for 80-plus yards and a TD.
No.
Neither.
Yeah, neither, actually. I would agree with that.
Stafford continues to diversify his targets.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Only because the Niners' defense is so good that they're probably going to be like, cool, Cooper Kupp can eat, but we're taking everything else away.
Cooper's going to be the only winner on that sideline.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would think he'd have more pressure. Like, that's what they'd be trying to do.
I'm going to go Niners 17, Rams 14, by the way.
I had 21-27, and I gave it. Who's at home here? The Niners, right? I'm going to give it to the Niners, 27-21.
You legit just wrote a score. You didn't even have the winner.
I did everywhere else.
Huh.
He's just predicting the score, not the winners.
No. I had Cincinnati and Indy winning in my other 2. I just forgot to write it down here because Mike was asking me a bunch of dumb questions before the show. Why are you looking at my notes?
Just curious.
We graduated.
Hey,
I'm not doing your
cheating,
homework.
he's not trying.
Exactly. There you go. You're morally bankrupt too.
I have like $7. All right. With that, let us know what you think of Week 4 preview. Any games that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. Gabe, did we miss anything in sports news today?
No. In fact, we had our most productive day of catching sports news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to having the new guy help us out and add that component.
That's his new nickname.
The new guy.
The new guy.
The new guy.
NFG. Isn't that the military one?
What is it?
NFG.
Yeah.
New fucking guy.
Huh? Yeah. Maybe we can turn the NFG into an NFT.
Ooh.
Make a little bit of
I see what you did there.
Moni. I was a poet and I didn't even know it.
And here's the waitress that works at Olive Garden.
I thought that was your girlfriend.
Oh, what? Samantha?
Oh,
no, yeah. I don't know what he is saying right now.
All right, well.
She's in studio with us. She just does this.
Yeah. Mike, take us out.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching the show today. If you are a sports fan with sports fan friends, make sure to catch us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and Patreon. You can catch us on our Twitch as well. if you want to catch us on cable, MCN6 here in the Twin Cities, Saturdays at 10 p.m. You can access that through your Roku remote if you're outside of the Twin Cities as well through the MCN6 app.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure that y'all tune in next week as we will obviously be recapping the Vikings trip to London and what they have in store against the Bears in Week 5. We will have a little bit more information, I'm sure, on the Wild and the Wolves as they inch ever closer to the regular season. The MLB playoffs will actually start the day after next Thursday, so we will have that as well. And we're going to play a little game of Would You Rather for the NFL next week, so do not miss that. As always, glad to have y'all with us on another beautiful Thursday. Make sure you come back next Thursday at 11 to join us once again. Until then, take care, stay safe, be well. NBC Novation NBC.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I listen to it every week.
I'm sorry.